exactly in those shoes. His name's Josh Bailey, and he went from being a firefighter, fighting fires, to now fighting people and helping people to get in homes. Josh, what's up? How you doing there, buddy?
Not too bad, Kenner. How you doing today?
I'm hanging in there, hanging in there. Yeah, Josh has been, he's a good guy. I've met him and, I've learned enough about him to know that, man, he's got a cool story. And I thought it'd make a lot of sense for you all, the listeners and viewers out there, to hear his story. Because I think it also, it really shows kind of what it's like to go from basically a worker bee, let's just call it a worker bee, to an entrepreneur. His story is an interesting one. Let's get right to it. Josh, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about who you are?
All right. So as Kenner's graciously called me in, my name is Josh Bailey. I'm a fireman from Baltimore, originally from Baltimore, retired about 10 years ago, and now living in Melbourne, Florida, where I'm working as a realtor, independent contractor for therapy services, and now branching into a bit of independent day trading. So completely working for myself versus completely working for the government.
Now, a lot of people out there, they want to make that switch, I would think. No, I know for a fact. And by the way, obviously, all our people out there, as you probably know, we have 12,000 people who are going to be getting this. They're all entrepreneurs, though some of them are thinking about being an entrepreneur and have kind of hitched their wagon to our story. So what I would say is, why don't you kind of give a little bit of background about maybe if you were afraid to make that switch to now becoming an entrepreneur, Josh?
It definitely is a scary thing, making the transition. And I guess I was kind of in a better place to make it than some. I had actually retired from the fire department, so I have a pension coming in, and I have a safety blanket, if you will. I have the safety net underneath me if I fail. So that made the transition a little easier to do. It's something I've always wanted to do, even when I was, in the fire department and actively doing it. Just really wasn't sure what my avenue was going to be, and then not having that safety net at that time, it really makes for a dangerous transition. It's the W-2 is a great safety blanket, but it's also a very much a limiting factor.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, it's really worth noting if someone's thinking about, becoming an entrepreneur, leaving, let's say, Microsoft or whatever the case is. I think it makes a lot of sense to kind of dabble in both courts, if you will, kind of be, maybe be a W-2 there for a while, start a side gig. And then when you have a nest egg or a little bit of money kind of amassed, then you can make the leap and totally leave the W-2 world. I think that makes a lot of sense. But it sounds like you have the kind of best of both worlds in that regard.
Yeah. Like I said, it's definitely nice to be in a position to where, if you don't have a great month, or you have I have a safety net. Like, I have something behind me that, in case I don't hit the numbers, even though I always strive to hit the numbers, but in case I don't hit the numbers as I'm growing, there is that comfort of being a retiree.
Yep. So, and by the way, so we have about 25 minutes. Usually we take about, 30 minutes. And for you, why don't you talk about actually some of the logistics? I know this is going to be a weird one, but some of the logistics to actually become an entrepreneur, meaning, did you have to go out and get an LLC? Did you go out and talk to an attorney? Did you go out and talk to an accountant? Let's talk about the logistics, because I think you made it seems like a pretty smooth transition, generally speaking.
Yeah, so I went in real estate, and there is a lot of help and education in the real estate field, but there's also a lot of bad information in the real estate field. So learning how to navigate that information, surrounding yourself with people who are of the growth mindset, who kind of want to help you grow, see you grow, like-minded, these individuals that you kind of go through as you're learning, you can kind of filter your way through and figure out who's going to be there to help and assist you. And you're right. I mean, like finding the right broker was a big help. Or actually, I've managed to work my way to a team that has been really beneficial, helping me navigate and really launch my business and get that started. And then through that relationship is actually how I met you, because you provide a service for them, and they're very happy with the service that you provide for them. And you came in and did a meet and greet with the entire team, and It seemed like it was something that I was at a point in time where I had just started an LLC,
Mm-hmm.
did it on my own, made some mistakes, and kind of live and learn, and we briefly talked about how the next step is going to be from LLC to S corp, and that may happen either late this year or early next year. I anticipate with the growth I'm seeing. So that's all. It's all been relatively good bonus. But yeah, you got to surround yourself with good people who are happy to see you succeed when you're happy to see them succeed.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I get it. So, I know you're with EXP. Can you mention maybe a couple things about EXP and what it's done for you? Because it sounds like it's done volumes for you.
Yeah. So the team I'm affiliated with is through EXP, but we're also a Zillow Premier. And that EXP umbrella is you have an agent above you, and they happen to own and run my team, and they have an agent who is above them, and there's this network of really just masses of information. If the answer isn't directly available to the person right above me, usually they can get that answer relatively quick. EXP has a ton of training information available. There's a whole EXP world where you can go in and find just about. If you're bored, you could kill hours on there just consuming information.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all there. You just have to take a little bit of personal responsibility and go after it. And I find that when you're going after things, people see that and are willing to help.
Mm-hmm. I think that, yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think a lot of people, especially as an entrepreneur, a lot of people don't take it upon them to, take things the next step, do customer service or do research, and that ends up helping the bottom line. If you can help the client doing that research, et cetera, it helps your bottom line. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's probably why you succeeded. I know you're a totally good guy. I bet I know you go the extra mile for clients.
Oh yeah, yeah. In a real estate transaction, it's well, to this day, and every one of my real estate transactions has been the biggest in my life at that point in time in my life. And,
Mm-hmm.
for most everyday people, that is the case. One of my goals this year is to also acquire my first investment property.
Mm-hmm.
So that may not be my most expensive real estate transaction ever, but the house I'm currently in is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, for most people, the home they're moving out of, is their single biggest form of wealth, their biggest
Mm-hmm.
transaction. So it's a big responsibility to help people navigate through that with a fiduciary kind of mindset in mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's important. So you also mentioned, which is pretty interesting and unique, that you do some little bit of trading. You want to talk about kind of the dichotomy and what it's like to, kind of the mindset of being a trader, let's say a stock trader versus kind of investing in real estate?
I Yeah, I would say there's a lot of similarities.
Mm.
It's a weird concept for me, but it feels like in entrepreneurialism, its mindset is really, really taught to be, it's a big foundation. If you're not
Mm-hmm.
positive in your mindset, how are you going to have positive results? It's just, keeping yourself in that positive thinking, grateful abundance, and then also being generous with your time and money when you do have it come in. It seems to me right now, early in this journey, that you know, money is a multiplier, right? It's if you're a good person, you're allowed to. Money's going to enable you to do a lot more good things.
Mm-hmm.
It's and it's a kind of it's kind of a multiplier.
Mm-hmm. What's been the toughest part about being an entrepreneur in your viewpoint?
Um, Managing my time.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
I think the safety net that I have is a double-edged sword at times, and I get comfortable, and things are starting to move along pretty good. And I'm like, all right, I'm cruising. I can take my foot off the gas a little bit and kind of put it in cruise control, and then I have the ability to get lazy and forget to take her off of cruise control and put her back in gear when I need
Mm-hmm.
to.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to learn that balance of work life
Mm.
work life balance as an entrepreneur. Um, I make my own schedule, so sometimes that can be a blessing and a curse.
That's a good point. Yeah, we're our own kind of barrier to success if you think about it. And one of those is, being lazy, or I should say, time management. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's because I mean, like working from home a lot. It's not always laziness. It's
Yeah.
being focused to the task at hand. If the dryer buzzes, and I'm in here analyzing some charts, no, I need to finish analyzing my charts, make my trade, and then go fold the towels versus
Hmm.
stop what I'm doing, go take care of the laundry, then come back and then spend another 10, 15 minutes getting reacquainted to what I was looking at instead of just finishing that task at hand.
Hmm. Hmm. What about some of the tools when you're talking about tasks that brings up the question to myself about tools. What tools are you using in business to kind of get ahead, keep you on task?
I'm trying to find a good planner. I haven't had much success. So if any of your listeners know of a good planner they'd like to recommend, I'd love to hear about it.
Okay.
But
Uh,
just really trying to work the time management, trying to get better at that. QuickBooks. And then I didn't know that I'm supposed to go in and navigate QuickBooks and make some notes inside QuickBooks, and
mhm.
so it's just it's I think it's just like you said, you get one tool, you kind of learn how to use it, and then you realize you're not really using it very effectively, and you learn it a little bit better, you get better at it, then you kind of move around. I mean, I've tried some digital marketing stuff
Mhm.
to help the business. Trying to have a good social media presence is definitely one of the tools that I'm trying to get better with.
Mhm.
I think I'm at that age where, uh, tech wasn't my greatest asset, but
Mhm.
it was around. It was just not something I chose to get into. And now I'm kind of playing catch up, getting into Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and,
Mhm.
just trying to make sure you have a presence and you're putting forth good, good valid information.
Mhm. Yeah, I'll throw out a couple of tools for you. I mean, and this is basically, you and I talking, just being very casual. So, I'll throw some ideas at you. And don't feel funny about, people listening because it is what it is. You know what I mean? What we do is the crux of all our business is a CRM called Copper, Copper. It is basically built on, if you really think about it, it's built on top of Google. They're Google's only recommended CRM. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by the way by them in any way, but I would totally take a look at them. It's relatively cheap. I don't know what the price is. I don't take care of that. But what I would say is that's one thing to look at. It's a CRM called Copper. It's Copper, Copper CRM. Um, um, because as an example, how many emails or contacts do you have in a database or a spreadsheet?
So I do use a CRM. We use Follow Up Boss with our office,
Yep.
and as a team, we have over 24,000 leads in
Yeah.
our database that are constantly being touched,
Yep.
and then we kind of filter through those. Um, as the CRM is working the clients and you're getting some responses, we can kind of go in and further nurture them, or if they seem like they're ready, come in and get them. So my personal database is usually no more than 30 to 50 people that I'm working with at a given time,
Mm-hmm.
and they could be anywhere from say ranging from 5 to 6 people who are say 3 months out versus another 10 to 20 who are 2 months out. I'm sorry, like 4 to 6 months out, and then anybody beyond 6 months out that would make up the rest of the people that I'm currently working with. And then as they either don't really move closer or start to move further away, I might move them back into what we call a pond and letting the CRM work them. So back into that area where I pulled them out of.
Oh, nice. So that pond, I gotcha. In our pond, we have, I get it. I understand your analogy too. So our pond is what we would use for our email marketing blasts. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
one thing we're good at is email marketing because that's the most important. That's almost like a virtual cash machine. That's the most important thing because if you could stay in front of those people, emailing them on an ongoing basis, added value stuff, that makes a whole bunch of difference when it comes to getting people to call you or email you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have, like I said, part where the CRM is working the 24,000, and as they start to get more active, different agents, myself, and other people on the team will go in and, you know, kind of, go fish and pull them out of the pond, work them a little bit, and
Mm-hmm.
get them either closer to being ready to a point where we buy or sell a home, or like I said, if the timing or whatever doesn't work out, we end up putting them back into the pond. So like a little bit of catch and release sometimes.
I understand. That's a good
You got a
analogy.
fish that just wasn't quite ready.
Yeah, I understand. And how does it work? Is it random, or like how do you pull people out of the pond?
Just kind of random. Like you can, and all the agents on the team have access to the pond, and then
Got it.
you can kind of call them, send them emails, text, and then if you get a response and you start a conversation with them, you can then move them over to your CRM.
Got it. And your CRM is part of that CRM, so that's the
Correct.
tool. Yeah,
We
I
use
understand.
a boss,
I'm sorry.
follow up boss.
Yep. I get it. I totally get it. And then, what about I'll throw out another tool. What about tools? What do you get or give when you get a referral?
It really depends. Referrals kind of be very, very specific. Most of my referrals that come from friends or family, usually some type of gift card to a restaurant. If I know they're a golfer, it might be a gift card to like a round of golf, something like that. Um, Different referral partners, business wise. Um, I get referrals from a nursing home placement company for my listings,
Mm-hmm.
but we kind of have a relationship where it's almost just reciprocal. Like I've given them leads, they've given me leads, and we meet maybe once a quarter, and go back and forth who's picking up lunch. So there's not really like a big exchange of a gift or anything, but it's a mutual swapping. Like not always one for one, but something where I refer them business and they refer me business as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'll give
and
you.
then
Sorry, go
and
ahead.
And for my closing gifts, like for my customers when we close on a home, that usually depends too. Like I don't want to be like the generic person just giving everybody like a Yeti or whatever branded cup. Um, I usually try and put some thought into it
Mm,
to where I had like some newlyweds, and they were really big into fitness, and I got them something with their wedding date on it, like kind of in the fitness related. And then a young guy, first time home buyer, he was 21 years old and had no tools, so he got Home Depot gift
mm,
cards.
nice.
Kind
Yeah.
of I kind of try and feel my clients out and see where they're at and what they might want. And one time it was a nice bottle of wine because they seemed like they were pretty well set in their life and didn't need anything else other than
Mm,
they liked Cabernet.
yeah.
So
Yeah. I get it. I totally get it. Again, that's why I think you're a little unique because you're going a step beyond. You're making it personalized versus here. I'm going to go out and get a bunch of gift cards to Starbucks as an example or whatever. All right, I got a little idea for you, by the way. For centers of influence, we don't do this as much as we should, and I'm being frank, but what we used to do just a couple of years ago, actually, what we would do is, oh no, I'll just ask you. Let's say you give me a referral, and I give you uh, you're going to get a blue box, Tiffany's, the retailer, the precious metals retailer.
mhm.
In it is one, let's say, a wine glass. You open it up, you open the Tiffany's box, beautiful blue box, the white ribbon, and you open it. And you get one wine glass, but because you've given us a referral, what's your first thought?
um, what do I put in the glass and where is it?
All right, I like that. So typically, someone says, "Huh, Kenner gave me a referral. I get one Tiffany's wine glass. How many is in a set?
I have no clue.
Four, four. So what does that mean? You have one. There's a set. Usually, it takes four to make a set. Well, what are you going to do?
I guess I got to send you another referral to get the rest of
Exactly. So that one Tiffany glass usually leads to three more referrals, sometimes even more. So they end up with a set. Does that make sense? You do that for
Make
your centers of influence. Plus, when they open up that box at the office and they see, the people see, oh my gosh, Tiffany's glass. Usually they ask, who's that from? What's the deal? And then that ends up being good news, because then sometimes they'll give your name away, and then you'll end up with even more referrals from another center of influence. Make sense?
Yeah, I like that. God, I can't remember the guy's name. It's an entrepreneur I follow, and this may apply for some of the people in your group, but not really for me. He said if you have a business and you're trying to get a hold of somebody, you can't get them to give you a call back.
Mm-hmm.
He said buy them a pair of Jordans, but only send them one shoe.
Yeah.
And then with a phone number and hey, you want the other shoe? Give me a call. I was like, that's probably a good way to get somebody to give you a call back.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's worth it. I know of a guy who did that back in the day. Yeah, it totally makes sense if you think about it, because of course they're going to call you. That's a great idea, right?
Yeah. Just being creative and thinking outside the box.
Yep. I think there's a number of things we can learn from you. I know that, again, you're a good guy. You go beyond. I know you go above and beyond. So let's get ready to close this. So how about this? How does someone get a hold of you if they're either interested in joining your team or potentially having you as their real estate agent down there in Florida?
Okay. Well, you can reach me by my phone number, 410-371-9421. That's the best way to get a hold of me.
Mm-hmm.
Email is josh.bailey.flrealtor@gmail.com. And you would put me on a point where I don't know my website address off the top of my head.
That's no big deal. Your email, is it josh.bailey, correct?
BAILEY.
Oh, sorry.
REALTOR@gmail.com.
Just one more time, because I messed you up. What is it again?
All right, JOSH.BAILEY.FLREALTOR@gmail.com.
Awesome. And I assume you're open for new business and you're looking for clients who might be looking for investment property, let's say in Florida, or something of the nature, correct?
Oh yes, and like I don't know how your weather was today, but I had to end my boat ride early to come home for this interview.
So what you're saying is Florida's the way. And by the way, it's probably rainy. I haven't looked outside my window, but I'm sure it's raining here in Seattle right now.
Yeah. The weather is fantastic. I've been here 10 years. This was probably the coldest, gloomiest winter we've had. It was leaps and bounds better than any winter I ever had in Baltimore.
Yeah, I totally hear you there. I hear you there. Well, thanks a lot for being on this. I appreciate it, because your story is a cool one. If anyone wants to, invest in Florida, we have a lot of real estate investors. Obviously, 93% of those 12,000 people, we're assuming, are real estate investors. So if anyone's looking for an real estate agent in Florida, Josh is a good one. Good dude to work with. I could promise you that.
All right. Thank you, Kenner.
You better believe it. So once again, Kenner French, a vast voice telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Kenner French at vastsolutionsgroup.com. Signing off. Thanks, everybody.